Hi guys, welcome to the Tap House Podcast where we rate beers and you rate us. So I'm your host E, and obviously this is a departure from what I usually have or what I'm usually doing. So before further ado, let's go ahead and hit the intro.
Tap House.
Hi guys, welcome back. This is the first episode or first podcast, I think, in nearly over a couple of months now. I don't know, like 2 or 3 months, I suppose. Maybe more than that. So before we get into the actual topic I want to talk about, I want to say first and foremost, I guess basically what's going on with everything and what's going on with the videos channel and all that stuff. So basically updates real quick before we get into the conversations at hand. So the update is that rather than the podcast itself having the beer reviews on air, we're going to go ahead and put that. The beer reviews would already be made. Basically, the beer reviews will be posted on my YouTube channel, the Tap House Podcast. It'll be on the link below. So every time I do a podcast episode, there will be a beer review on the YouTube channel, so you could check that out. Obviously, the beer that I reviewed today, this week, is actually up right now. It's called Brew Sanity. It's a Golden Strong Ale. I will believe anybody out there, I'm sure you'll enjoy the taste of the beer if you have a chance to taste it. I think right now it's only in Texas, but I may be wrong. I should have probably checked that out, honestly. If you hear my dogs in the background, I apologize. They're like literally fighting, non-stop fighting. So I'm just gonna let them tire themselves out. Also, on that YouTube channel, Tap House Podcast, I am going to have beer reviews, and I'm going to have, I'm going to have basically things that I kind of not poke fun of, but just have fun with, like, more international beers. We're not international beers, but more of the common beers out there, like Coors Light, Bud Light, and things like that. So that's also there. They come every so often, whenever I feel like, having fun with it. And then also I have what is also called beer talks. Well, basically, there's a topic at hand that I find very interesting that's non-beer related, but I do have a beer on there. It's basically like the podcast having beers, but instead of having the whole hour or so just talking about other random things or just specific things, all at once, I'll talk about just one thing in general. And I go into depth about it, but I only have 2 so far, or I think 1. I might go back and do some more, but so far, depending on the time frame, I just first and foremost want to focus on the Tap House Podcast itself and also the beer reviews, because I am going to start school, and I know that would take most of my time, actually all of my time. So the time that I do have is on the weekends, which is normally what I do regardless. Normally how I do things is on the weekends. I tend to focus 100% after I do everything else on the podcast and on the beer reviews. Once that's done, if I have free time, I'll focus on the other things as well, which is the beer talks and also the beer insights. Don't worry, my dog ain't dying. He's they're over there playing around. So yeah, I just want to keep you updated about that. Where's things going? Give me 1 second. These guys are fighting pretty hard. Hey, what's up? What's up, bros? Come down. Anyways, yeah, that's another reason why too as well. The format that I have now, or the way I am, is because I kind of have my dogs walking around. Because normally I would record it in some different areas, and I'll have all my equipment on one side. I decided to have it all on one side now, so I can keep an eye on in case my dog chews on it. I lost at least $1,000 worth of stuff because of my dog. So that was kind of a bummer. And a lot of things happened during the quarantine, which allowed me to really focus on, my self-being and my health and things like that. I'm sure a lot of us kind of went into some depression somewhat. I know I did. It was kind of it was an interesting time, I have to say. It was more of a reality that's kind of just hit me in the face, and it was hard to kind of comprehend what was going on at the time. And it's still hard to comprehend now. Like, there's a lot of things in my head. I'm like, why am I still facing things in my head that I thought I was already over? But I think I'm kind of digressing real quick. Back to the updates. So yeah, I also do Twitch, Ellie Runner 08. if you want to check me out, I play any random game. I mostly focus specifically on Apex Legends and Tetris. And what I did focus on Destiny for a while, but I haven't got onto it in a long time. Normally because I would have friends that play with me, but it kind of just died out for some reason, you know? Well, friend-wise, they just lost interest in it, and they decided to just focus on different ventures, which I respect. So, yeah, I do also Twitch, if you want to check me out on Twitch. Normally, when I do get on, it's when I have free time, so most of the time it's random. So if you ever see me on there, stop by and say hello and see if I'm drinking a beer as well. I might not, depending on what day it is. I tend to just calm the beer drinking down to the minimum, only for the beer reviews and for, for certain actual times. I will talk about more on that in depth after the updates. The updates are going along, by the way, but it's just there's so many things I want to tell y'all that I've been doing behind the podcast and things that I can't do because of the quarantine or the pandemic, because I don't think none of us are quarantined anymore. I think everybody gave up on that. Again, we could talk about that on the podcast itself and later on. We don't want to talk about every single thing, every single aspect on one episode, because I think that's another thing I want to mention is that I think I'm learning to keep the episodes more concise, especially the beer reviews as well, so that these podcasts, as much as they're not the like I call it, what's the word I'm looking for? As much as I don't prepare, it's more of just naturalness, just one-on-one conversations with you. I should tend to focus less on just the longevity, I guess, of the podcast. For example, I don't want to make it 3 to 4 hours unless it's like extravaganza and then we have like a freak ton of friends or things like that, But if it's just me by myself, I'm not gonna make it go past a certain time frame, I try to keep it in a certain time frame, which probably be 40 to 30 minutes, honestly, if I'm being honest, because I think more than an hour, unless I have a certain dynamic, or at least if I have a certain subject that needs to focus a lot on depth into that topic, then I'll let it go past a certain time. This guy just dropped down. There we go. And the thing is too as well, one thing I do want to focus on too as well is kind of cut down the curse words a lot, just because I tend to curse 50% more than actually having a conversation. So that's another thing. And by the way, I'm sorry about the squeakiness of the chair. It's I can't do anything about it. I found it in a trash can. Yeah, I'm a trash digger. I mean, if it's free, if it's taken care of, I'm taking it. I mean, if it's useful for me. But back to the updates. So Twitch, Eli Runner 08, ELI, how you spell Eli, ELIRUNNER. And then also for the Tap House Podcast, it's on the YouTube channel, exactly how it's spelled, the Tap House Podcast. And for Instagram, exactly the same thing, the Tap House Podcast. The Twitch, I didn't want to make it correlation to the channels or anything like that, because that's also just me, like the podcast itself, but gaming wise. So I figured I'd let that kind of just spread its wing on its own. And for those who are still listening, from the first episode till now and waited for me to come back, I mean, thank you. I don't know who you are, but I really appreciate it. And for those who are new, welcome. Look at the episodes that I made prior. I'm pretty crazy and I'm pretty emotional, and a lot of things that I say are just straight out of my thoughts, right in that moment. None of those episodes are ever planned out. There's only 1 or 5 episodes, but it's because there was an actual tragic thing that happened during that year, and also because I wanted to prove my point to my friend, basically my roommate. For those who don't know, it's M. Which I don't think he's ever going to come back on the podcast, if I'm being honest. But Kay, he's not on the podcast lately, only because of the quarantine as well. Like I said, the pandemic, he's taking care of his mother. I respect him for that. So he does want to do it online, which maybe I'll think about doing eventually. But at the moment, I'd rather not. And then I have a lot of plans to do more podcasts with people. and bring back quick shots because I miss quick shots. That was fun for me. It was fun for my friends. So I kind of want to bring that back too as well. There's a lot of things I want to do for the episode, but again, the first focus of everything for me is try to get my dummy degree to graduate. That has to stop me right now. It's kind of difficult because of school. Well, so I work full time, and everything that I want to do, it's only in the afternoon, or you have to be in person. So I've been consistently going through every single degree of what I want to do online, like anything that's online. And I know mostly online is like 8-week courses. It's like up to ask consistently. And if I'm working full time, there's no like waste of time when I get off of the podcast. Sorry, off of work. So I have to kind of fit in work. I have to fit in exercise, health, and then podcasts and beer reviews. But thank God that the beer reviews and podcasts, as much as I love them, they don't take too much of my time. Before they used to, because I'll be lazy and not really focus on it. But I haven't been doing nothing lately. I've been home, and I really haven't hung out with nobody, so distractions aren't there. So if I'm able to focus solely on my schoolwork and then on the podcast in separate times when I'm free, I think it's a doable thing. But obviously, like, there's going to be circumstances where I need to focus like the whole week for the school, which I think is going to be regardless. As long as I'm caught up, then I could do whatever I could do. But if there's like a certain test or if there's an exam, then yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just maybe skip a day or a week for the podcast or a week of the beer review, because the beer reviews now, since about a lavalier mic, it's much easier to do reviews anywhere I want to without having to move my whole equipment in one specific spot. That's the only reason why I bought it. I do behind a green screen, which I'm still debating about doing though, because the green screen does say like it takes around 4 to 5 hours to render, which that cuts like 5 hours of my time of like researching for school or doing other things I could possibly do on the on the computer. So I might figure out what to do with that. I might do it somewhere else entirely, the beer reviews instead of a green screen. But it was just a play to see how it feels and how it works. What else I got to do? What else is the updates? Oh yeah, one other thing too as well is that I love beer, but there's times where on the podcast I do go crazy and I tend to have emotional outbreaks, and I do not want to do that as much as this year. I want to focus on growth and positivity and just bullshit talking, but like actually making coherent sentences and not having to mumble my words consistently, even though now I still do. But it feels much better for me to kind of just talk to you like a normal conversation without being my father and being drunk. Not to say he's that now. He's actually like doing amazing. Like, I really appreciate that my father has been going through. He's been having a great transition from being alcoholic to now being non-alcoholic, and it feels weird at times knowing that I do beer reviews and stuff like that. And I also, by the way, I did do a podcast before this. It was on Thanksgiving, but shit hit the fan, and I'm unable to post that. I'm gonna figure out a way to edit that video and post the audio clips and just my mom and dad conversation wise with my sister. But there's other people that are involved that are my nieces that are underage, which I don't have any, me and the mother don't really have a connection that we could talk to. I don't think we see eye to eye. So if I ever post that up, obviously it's going to get taken down because I don't have permission from her parent, which is my little niece regardless. But I respect that, and I don't want to even mess with that at all. So eventually that video will be posted, because we did talk about mental health from the Mexican side of things, like how you were raised and how sometimes you don't really realize that things are happening in your own family, and like what was it the point that you realize that anxiety and things like that and depression was a real thing and not because we were just kind of bullshitting. Things like that. I was having a conversation with my parents, and it got pretty deep. And some things happened. Things were said that I didn't mean to say, or if my sisters didn't mean to say. So that episode maybe will go up eventually, but at the moment this will be the first episode back. And then once I get to the point where I feel comfortable enough to put that one up, I will. By the way, I got coffee. That's what I'm drinking today. It's snowing. I don't know if you can tell in the background. I'm hoping to finish this episode before a certain time so I could go home and do my laundry. Sorry, my parents' house, because our laundry doesn't work here at an apartment. It kind of screwed up, or maybe I fucked it up, or maybe he fucked it up. But I don't know. I ain't blaming nobody. Oh man, that's some good coffee. I had a Starbucks beans coffee, but I had to shred it. For some reason, it always kind of tastes much better. For one, it kind of brings the potency out of the coffee, I think. And then plus, I could put how much ever powder I want on it. I like K cups; they're amazing, but it's missing that rawness to it sometimes. All right, well, that's kind of been the updates. I feel like I'm missing a lot. I feel like I kind of, even though I talked a whole bunch randomly sometimes throughout that updates, but I feel like I'm still missing a whole bunch. But eventually, if I figure out what I forgot to say, I'll come across and I'll bring it towards your attention eventually. But the reason you're here for, and the reason why the episode's called "I Got the Vaccine," because I think that's what I'm gonna name the episode. I am fortunate and lucky enough to get the vaccine way before certain people have, and I feel uncomfortable even saying I got the vaccine, and I feel uncomfortable knowing I got it before a lot of people who deserve it way more than me. But I did preface this a lot, like, because people were asking me, and I was asking people, hey, are you going to get the vaccine? Some people said, no, I'd rather wait. I respect those decisions. It's fine. Uncertainty is not the best thing if you just jump into it and you fucking take whatever you feel like you don't even know what it is. If you want more research to it, fine. That's understandable. Now, I do have a gripe between those people who say, oh, I'm not taking it because I don't trust the government, or because it's too fast, or because, I heard this on Facebook and something like that. And then you spread that hate, or not that hate, but you spread that misinformation towards other people, which kind of makes them not want to take the vaccine, and, pushes them away from actually a medication, or I guess a vaccine shot that could possibly save their lives in the future and other people's lives in the future as well. Those people I do not understand and I don't care for. I'm only saying that because, I'm not a scientist, obviously. I'm a beer reviewer and a coffee drinker. But the reason why the vaccines now are developing much faster is because technology has massively evolved, and it's not just one country trying to figure it out. It's a whole world. The whole world came together to figure out this vaccine. Obviously, there's competitors, and the other countries want to beat certain countries. Same thing when it comes to space, the space wars. Well, not the space wars, but to go to the moon, right? Well, I guess it was Russia, China, right? You know what? Don't even call me. Basically, we all took our attention to go to the stars, right? And we got there pretty quickly. From what I mean, that's like a wrong example. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, it's just not us, the United States, trying to figure it out. It's the whole world. So we all kind of gave each other information how to develop some certain vaccine. Because once one vaccine came out, another one came out, and another one came out, another one came out, because they're able to kind of tweak it to help themselves, kind of situation. I don't know. But basically, what I'm trying to say is that if you're thinking it's too fast, I don't think so. I think it's just the accumulation of the whole world getting together and focusing on one, enemy, the vaccine. The COVID. But also, I know people are saying, well, I mean, if they got this development right away off the bat, like, how come they can't do that to cancer? How come they can't cure diabetes or all this other stuff? Why can they do this but they can't do anything else? Who said they haven't? Maybe they have. But and somebody said, well, people who had HIV, one person in my I won't name, but told me that well, they haven't cured HIV or things like that. I'm like, well, I mean, we have taken great steps forward to finally kind of just basically stop the spread, because that's what we want to do, is stop the spread. So whenever I told her, like, look, HIV from where it was to where it is now, it's a lot, like, there's now you can be with somebody and not having to be afraid of passing it on because they give you medication for that. Same thing with certain other stuff like gonorrhea. There's a super gonorrhea going on right now, but hey, you could cure that. I'm going off subject here. Basically, is like, I get your concerns if you don't want to take it just because you're seeing it from the logical standpoint of view. But if you're just kind of saying things like, for instance, they have chips in it and things like that, where all these conspiracy theories, and that's a whole different thing. I think that's ridiculous. But some people just want to wait and see the side effects, and that's understandable. I mean, if you could wait, that's great. But for me, my thought process was, why wait? Because there's only a limited amount of vaccines out there, and if you're able to get it now. Because if you're able to get it and you're able to at least have 50% protection from COVID, then that 50% you're able to transmit less. Either you get, that's less of a chance for you to get COVID and less of a chance for you to spread it too. See, the shot that I got was Moderna. I went from over here to over here, but that's how it goes sometimes. I got the Moderna shot. I got the first shot already. It's been 2 weeks now. On the 20th, I get the second shot, which is coming up next week, which I'm excited as hell. Now, the first day that I got the shot, I felt tired. I felt very exhausted, fatigued. The only thing that I didn't really feel was kind of a high fever that other people felt too as well. But I do say this, and I always emphasize this whenever I do say how I felt. It's because the night before, I slept at 4 or 3 a.m. in the morning, and I woke up at 7 a.m. to get the shot at 8 a.m. So I was just exhausted, because the only reason why I slept so late was because I was too afraid to miss my appointment, and I didn't want to miss it. So that kind of led to my fatigueness. So that's how I think I felt because of what I did before. So that's kind of what my process of thinking is. Like, maybe this is why I felt a certain type of way. Now, on the second day, I feel really tired. But again, I don't know if it's because I sleep late. And I remember that weekend, it was whenever I was doing the 12 beer reviews, when I had 12 beers to do of Christmas. So every day I would do one, or every day I would edit something, and I would go to sleep like around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So again, I feel like that's my part. That's my fault. The reason why I felt so fatigued. But at work, I normally am able to kind of brush it off and focus and wake up like that. But at work, I wasn't able to really focus 100%, and I felt really tired. I felt dead, and it came to a point where in Christmas, I think it was Christmas, or was it New Year's? I forgot what day it was, but I think it was Christmas. I just wanted to sleep all day. I didn't want to move. I just want to be in bed and cuddle and cozy up. I mean, I guess I could cuddle my puppies. They hate cuddling, but I tried. But yeah, like it was a more of that just not being able to want to do things. Like, I felt like I was depressed all over again. I felt like I didn't want to do shit. But after the third day, it was kind of chill. I was fine. Eventually, like, I think around the 5th or 6th day, almost 8th, I started having like super allergies. I don't know if that's because of my allergies, but I feel like I had it way more than I should have. I had like a super runny nose, and I kept sneezing, but I think it was just my allergies, I'm assuming. But it felt like it was going on for too long, so I was like, maybe this is, maybe the shot kind of made it happen, where it was the reason why it was going for longer than usual. But that's basically it. That's all I really had. There was nothing else that kind of came from it, the symptoms wise. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was afraid to get the shot. Like, I remember a week before I got the shot, I was so excited. Then 5 days before I got the shot, I was contemplating it. I was like, "Fuck, do I really want to get it? Like, do I really want to get this damn shot?" And then in my head, I was like, "Well, I have no kids. I have no spouse. I have no name, nothing under my name except my car and cards." Let me scoot up a little bit. Like I said, I want to be a chill episode. So I was like, if I die, I think I should be the one to die. I think I should be the one that just dies, and at least try it out. And at least then my sisters or whoever, my mom and dad, if they want to take it, they know the side effects and they know what happens. So if I die, then it could be like, you know what? My son died. I ain't taking that shit. Then that would be understandable. But I survived. Still, I know the second shot's worse. So I guess stay tuned for that. And I woke up. Just to clarify, the second time I did talk about the COVID vaccine, I woke from the very get-go talk about it. The only reason why I talked about other stuff is because there were so many things I want to talk about before I get into the conversation, and because there was a lot of things that people who do listen to the podcast maybe want to know what's been going on. And that's just not one thing that's been going on. It's in a lot of things. But anyways, yeah, so the second shot, I'm more concerned about the second shot than the first shot. Because one thing I do, and I forgot to mention, one thing about the shot that I did have a certain effect for me was my arm. Like, normally when you get your flu shot, you kind of get sore, and it feels kind of like, oh, somebody like fucking put their knuckles and hit you hard with your like this. I forgot how they call it, Charlie horse, I think. But that's how it felt for for maybe about 2 or 3 hours, and it just kind of went away, the pain. But this one, right from the get-go when I got the shot, right from the first day, my arm feels sore. But the second day, I couldn't even lift up down my arm. Like, I couldn't go like this. This shit hurt. I mean, it didn't hurt like, oh, I'm in pain, but it hurt like I was like sore. Like, I mean, like, it felt like I was lifting like 1,000 pounds and shit every other night. And for some reason, there's an elephant in my elbow and I can't pick it up. That's how it felt for me. So if you're sensitive when it comes to the flu shots and you get this shot, yeah, your arm may hurt for a couple of days. For me, it lasted 2 days and a half. And as you can tell, I'm a pretty skinny guy. I mean, if I'm skinny or fat, I don't know. It's up to, if that's your opinion. I feel like I've gotten chunkier, but thicker, but skinny all at the same time. But I did get fat during quarantine. Oh God, I got fat. I was drinking beers up to like twice a day. Yeah, I wasn't working out. I wasn't running. And then eventually, I forgot when it was. There was, I would say it was right before Halloween. I would say Halloween, right before Halloween. I forgot when it was. I think late September. I said, fuck that. I'm done. I'm done. I have all this free time. I'm not going to school for the fall. I'm going to go run every damn day. And I did that for like a good 2 months, and I got really skinny. Like in a fit way. And, well, then once the cold hit and once the time changed to, like, you know, it gets dark at 5 p.m. and stuff. Like right now it's 4:30. It's already gonna get dark. Then it was kind of hard to run in the afternoons because then, you know, I will have to wake up in the mornings, and I'm not a morning person. So now what I do is I work out at home and lift and just, you know, do like cardio. So instead of getting more skinnier now, I feel like I'm getting more bulkier, but I mean, come on, I'm not even that bulky, but I feel more toned. But that's kind of been my whole health during this whole pandemic, or this past couple months when I was off the podcast. But recently, like this past 3 weeks, I've been drinking way more. And it's due to a lot of stress. That's why I decided to drink coffee today on the podcast, because I need to cut back down on my drinking. I've been drinking too much. I think I drink, because when I buy a beer to review, I have either get a 6-pack or a 4-pack, and sometimes the beers are good and sometimes the beers are not. So far, I've been lucky and fortunate enough to have good beers, but I hate leaving them to waste. And like, whenever there's a beer in the fridge, you know there's a beer in the fridge, you're like, fuck it. You're like, fuck it, I'll take a beer. And that's a bad habit. That's a really bad habit. So I try to not even touch the beer and try not to even focus on it, but sometimes that shit gets to me on the daily. Stress from figuring out what the hell my future's still gonna be, because either I quit my job full time and then like be in debt for a couple of years, or go online to get a different degree that I have no intentions, or I guess no interest in. And then, you know, forget everything else that I fell in love with, you know? And that's all my mentality. I'm trying 3 options here, right? Trying to move my full-time job to a nighttime shift, so I could at least go to school full-time in the morning. That's the best case scenario for me. I could go to school all day in the morning, and then full-time job, full-time work. You know, that'd be the best case scenario. Well, best case scenario, I won the lottery, right? Best case scenario, this pops off. And that's it, right? So that's one case. The second case is change my degree completely and go online school for any other degree that's online. Business marketing, business management. There's health education, like what the CDC is doing right now, which I looked up on. That one seems pretty interesting as hell. Psychology, elementary, special education and things like that, which again, none of them is wrong, but it's not my passion. Like the one thing I want to do, so that's my passion, is like editing or art teaching, but like for just art, teaching art. So it's hard to like go all these years since I was 18 until 30, when I'm 30 now, like just push all that to the side and say, you know, fuck it, get a different degree. Which obviously, if I get any other degree, I could always go back and finish the one I have now. I think that's the case, but I have all these questions and I can't get answers because it's like everything's online, so you don't hear back from anybody for a very long time. So by the time I hear from somebody at a certain college, it's already the classes already has started. My thing is like classes hasn't started yet, and I'm freaking out because it's about to start, and I really want to get into the classes this semester, despite what kind of fucking degree I get. But that's what gets me routed up in my mind what to do, and I can't talk to nobody, and the person who I used to talk to doesn't really want to talk to me, so that kind of sucks ass. And I don't like being that one guy that reaches out because I'm feeling like shit and things like that. So I just tend to just deal with it on my own. I mean, it's been like that for the past couple of weeks now, or months, I guess, yeah, months. I've just been focusing and dealing with it on my own. And that's another thing about the podcast and the beer reviews. Like, those things make me happy. Those things keep me abroad from not going to a mental breakdown. Being creative gets me going, you know. Being creative and doing things that I love makes me happy, you know. And I was content for it for a good time. I was really content until school, up until classes are about to start. Then I'm like, fuck, I gotta hurry up, you know. Then all my whole anxiety and all that shit came back, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. I'm stressed. I have anxiety. Depression's kind of lingering back in. So I'm trying to do the podcast in a more personal. I mean, obviously it's personal regardless or not, but like, instead of being like, hey, what crazy stories we got, you know, what crazy things we got, you know, what crazy situations did you live in, things like that. Like, nah, it's for, like, right now, if it's me, I want it to be like a conversation, like a one-on-one conversation with you, and just feel comfortable, just with coming with terms of what we're living with, or we're dealing with, and I want to do it with a clear state of mind and not on alcohol. Most of the cases. I mean, obviously, if I record a different time, like at nighttime, and I'm done with everything and I'm clear, then I'll have a beer or two. But I like doing them during the day, and where my mind's the most clearest, because at nighttime is where everything just starts to flare up. I don't know if it's for you, but for me, at nighttime, right before bed, it's when everything just starts to like come in full waves and attack my head about something. Like, this is coming over here, this one over here, this problem right here, this problem right here. Like, every problem my mind tries to solve, and there's no way in hell it's gonna solve it, because there's nothing to do at nighttime. Well, there's nothing to do, and things like that. And for whomever you want to talk to, you just don't want to be that weak person anymore, you know? Because I've been that weak person a lot, and even then, if I wasn't the weak person, I've been the strong person for other people. I don't want to be known as the weak person to them, because I want to be there for them. So if anybody needs me, I'll shut my stuff to the side and focus and try to help you out and not worry about my shit. But there are times where I bring myself up a lot, and I'm like, man, that was stupid of me. Why do I bring up my problems when they're talking to me about their problems? So now, whenever I do have a conversation with somebody and they do need an advice, I shut my shit down, and I deal with it on my own time. So this has kind of been my sort of meditation, or I guess therapy, on how to focus and deal with it. Like, when it comes to art, I do the things that I love and do the things that make me feel good. Drinking is great up until it's too much, and anything of too much fucks you up or could kill you. So do it in moderation terms. I am trying to focus on doing that and doing it that way, but there are times where it gets out of control. And the thing about it too as well is like the people who I used to hang out with a lot, I can't really go with them as much anymore for one specific thing and purpose. Is because all my little sisters, all three of them, are pregnant. They all have announced it, so I don't have to worry about keeping it a secret. So I'm terrified of catching COVID because I don't want to pass it on to them. And obviously my parents as well. The good thing about it now is I have a shot. So the next one, I'll be like 99% effective, like how Lysol and all that stuff are. So like if I have to stay away from people in like groups, I will. And I don't want to have that FOMO, because I think that's what's happening a lot now lately is fear of missing out. And everybody's having the FOMO, like, oh, everybody's going out this weekend. Like New Year's, spent to my mom and dad. Just me and my mom and dad. There were so many times I wanted to hit up somebody, hey, what are you doing? Hey, let's hang out. But no, I didn't want to risk it. And then in Christmas, there was only certain people. Like all these years during those times, I always have somewhere to go. I always have a thing to do. I always have a party to do. And like this year and last year, it's like it's been like shit. It's nothing. So I remember telling my friend, my roommate, that once this pandemic's over, or not even over, because I don't think it's gonna be over for a while. But once I get the second shot, I'm gonna be more eager to do things outside of my comfort zone. Obviously, still be respectful and not, if I go out, I'm always gonna take a shower before I go anywhere else or do anything else. But it's been a hassle. It's been like it's been a real bitch being alone, and forcefully too, like from a choice, because I could easily ask a friend, let's go hang out, but it's not the same anymore, And I don't know if it's because I've changed in certain ways, or if because how the world is, how the world changed. Because before, the only person I used to hang out with is my other friend. That's a girl, but she has her own life and her own thing going, so I don't even ask her to hang out anymore. I'm sure y'all could know on the podcast what I'm talking about. So I just leave her alone. Obviously, there's a lot of times I would like to, but I don't know. I think it's I gave up on just assuming I could hang out with her again. So I just let that be. And then my roommate, obviously they're hanging out with other people, with a lot of people. So I don't know. It's weird. Like I just want to focus on this in school and just get my ass a degree and get my ass a house or an apartment, and then try to make money for my family. And the weird thing is too, like I don't want to be rich. I want to have money just to take care of my mom and dad, so they can get them the dream home. I want to get to a point where I can take care of my families, my nieces and nephews, and everybody. I just want to live in a small little house with land. Is that mature? Yeah. With land, and build me like a little track in the back. And that's it. And have a little studio, so I could have friends over. We could do podcasting. We could do some editing videos. We could do some art. It'd be fun if I could open up my own brewery. And I even thought about that too. Like, what if I could go online for school to be like a brewer? I don't know if you have to, but that'd be cool as fuck, right? Make my own beer, my own company. There's a lot of things I would love to do. It's just the thing about this for me is like, I always wanted to do this since I was a kid, like do YouTube and stuff like that. But I never had those friends who would want to do it. And if they did, they never told me. And I'm so grateful for my roommate to help me out start off this podcast. But I don't want to regret not figuring out what could have been if I just tried. And I'm trying all different ways. It's the stupidest time ever because I'm 30, but for those who are 30-year-old, hey, what's up? I'll be 31 in a couple months, so that'll be embarrassing. But I don't know. I don't see myself with anybody right now, like growing up, and I don't see myself. I don't know how you say it. Like there's so much potential that I want to try everything. I just don't want to try one thing. I don't want to be stuck doing one thing. I want to try every single thing I could possibly can. Is it a wrong? Look, I have the money set and it's fine. I have everything. I'm living a comfortable life. It's not the best life because I want to be better. I always want to be better. Everybody should always strive to be better. I mean, don't be obnoxious about it, right? But be a better person. So I just want to try everything in my power to do everything that I love to do and see what actually works and what doesn't. And I feel like I've accumulated a lot of I don't know why my voice keeps cracking up. I accumulated a lot of things in this past 2 years that I feel like I am comfortable to a point where I could do a lot of great stuff online. And the thing about it, I kind of fucked up by having just beer reviews. I mean, I kind of wish I was more a comedian, but I'm not even that funny though. So, nah. But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do, and I don't plan on stopping unless I'm like doing some important shit when it comes to like school. But I won't stop it. I'll pause it to just finish that certain thing in the week. But yeah, I was in a rut. I wasn't like I don't know if anybody out there ever had that experience where you have so many creativity, so many things that are creative ideas, and you're like in this type of zone, like you just create and create and create, but then all of a sudden something happens like crazy in your life, and all that stuff that you used to love don't fucking love no more, where it's hard to get back into it. Like any little thing in the outside world could affect you from doing what you like to do. That's where I'm at. I recently got out of that rut, but I feel like there's certain things from the outer world that are kind of fucking me up in the head, that it's difficult for me to just like be happy with what I'm doing, you know? And it sucks because whenever I am in that place of like super creative mode, like everything that I do, it has a lot of heart to it. Everything that I do is just more exciting and more fun, and I have no worries about where I'm at. But right now where I'm at, I have so many worries of where I'm at and what I'm doing and how I'm doing things that I'm not able to really be happy where I'm at. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I'm comfortable, but I want to do better in my life. And that's where I'm at right now. That's kind of my update. I said about the whole COVID stuff. I got the vaccine, but hey, you're gonna have to stay tuned to the whole fucking video. It's a podcast. Come on. You gotta put those headliners out there. You gotta, do what you gotta do, man. Do what you gotta do. But no lie, guys. Whoever's out there, this is gonna be the new format for the podcast. Unless I have a guest, I don't know where the fuck it's gonna sit at, because this is not even 5 feet. There's like just 1 feet away from each other. If they sit over here on this side, and that's even if they come over. But I did it this way because, again, I want to feel comfortable. I didn't get any fucking chair. To feel comfortable, to be more one-on-one, I'm not always going to be looking at you, because I feel awkward just looking in front of a fucking camera and talking. I'd rather just look around in my own room, because I'm the type of person that likes to wander and look at other things when I talk, when I'm alone, because just focusing on you, unless I'm really good focusing on you because I have something to say. I mean, the whole thing, right? I hope you like the new setup. This is where I do my twitching and some other stuff, but basically just twitching shit. Anyways, guys, I'm talking for long enough here. I just want to keep you updated on what's going on and the vaccine. We'll talk about the vaccine on the 20th, probably the day of, or the following day, depending on how I feel. I'll keep you updated, but once a week the podcast will be on. I remember I used to do this twice a week. Man, that was crazy. That's probably why I don't have that much content anymore about my life, because I kind of went through everything. But I'm glad I did it though. It was a fun time. I'm scared to go back to this podcast, because that's when I was the most happiest. The first couple hundred of them. Obviously, you know why. If you know who I am, I was in love. But what's crazy about it is like, I'm so scared to hear my happy self back then, because for me, if I go back and listen to it, I'm gonna reminisce on those days, and I'm gonna be sad because I'm not there right now. Like, I'd rather be that guy than this guy right now, in my head. Well, I feel like that's how I'm gonna feel if I hear it. So I don't want to go back and listen to those episodes. Maybe not now, but one day I hope I'm able to go back and listen to those episodes, because they were fun. I think I heard one a while back, and I'm like, wow, man, we're dumb, but it was fun though. I thought we were fucking exciting. I thought we were fun as hell. So, I mean, Hopefully by myself it's not too bad. But again, guys, I appreciate y'all coming on. Sorry for the big ramble. Sorry for going through tangents like I always do, but that's who I am, and that's my personality. I'm trying to keep this more casual with y'all, and less of an extravaganza around us. And I think without the beer review, it's more or less relaxing. I don't know about y'all. I feel more relaxed, and having coffee here and not having to burp every 5 seconds, and actually am able to finish the sentences in the podcast at the very end. It's actually a better experience for me. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. I appreciate you coming over here. This has been the Tap House Podcast. Again, I'm your host E. There will be no full like cuts and edits and shit like that. It's just gonna be all raw. I might just make the color quality a little different, but that's about it. This is how it's gonna be. Straightforward, rock hot. Wow, I think that's the sugar kicking in. Yeah. So thank you for stopping by. If you have been listening to the podcast, I do have an Instagram account. I deleted my old one because I was trying to focus on school, and like I regret deleting it because I had a lot of people, and now I'm starting off with four followers again. So if you want to follow the Instagram, there's like little hints of beers and stuff in there, clips or like what's going on through my whole. I guess I could do like a whole background series of like behind the scenes stuff on the Instagram. I'll see. I also have a Twitter, but I hardly use that, so it's whatever. Anyways, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Be careful if it's snow in your area, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Sorry, I guess that's not my intro. Bye.